Flashy news. Only on ParanoidRadio.com, bringing you Flashy Fridays.
Tony boy.
Testicles, 1, 2. Testicles. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Paranoid Radio Podcast. I am your humble host. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. That is right. I have big announcements, guys. We have Patreon popping off. Oh, you can also go to paranoidradio.com. If you go to paranoidradio.com right now, there's already an amazing little section where you're not only able to get new gear for Dudes Lives Matter, for June, for mental health awareness, but also you could also check out our brand new Patreon account. So now, what am I offering? Let me tell you this. Let me tell you something. We're offering you unedited, unfiltered episodes from episode 200 all the way to episode 260. Why? Because those are the best ones. We do one hitter quitter episodes, and on top of that, you get to see them. You get to see episodes that are going to be weeks ahead before they drop on any other platform. Now, as you can see and you can hear, the more I use my voice, the more beat up I sound. So I'm gonna let the phenom, my co-host, my deep set correspondent, the business owner, patron from the East Coast, Flash_News 1, take it off. What's up, big dog? How you doing?
Yo, what's up, bro? What's up, everybody? Really excited for the Patreon, bro. I think that's going to be a cool opportunity for people to see behind the scenes, people to get more video content. I'll definitely be adding some stuff over there to even make it more interesting. And $3 a month, man, that's not a bad deal. Come on.
That's not a bad deal. You spend more on your freaking coffee when you go to your barista to get your fucking $7 venti Starbucks that's only giving you fucking diabetes. Well, we're not only going to give you diabetes because we're not only sweet and sour at the same time like fucking Chinese food. You could also check us out for $3, $2.99. Your ass is mine, baby. Come on. You can do that.
Come on.
You can afford $3.99 a month, man. Now, hook us up. The buses are coffee. It puts gas in our gas tanks. But most importantly, guys, we have something to strike with iron is hot. Allow us to jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the fucking mood. Flash, let them know where they can find you. What's going on, bro? What's going on in the fucking world in this amazing Flashy Friday?
Yeah, man, I'm over on Instagram. They hit me with another restriction. Unfortunately, I got a 90-day restriction for absolutely no reason, but that's all right. We're going to keep pushing out the content. And yes, I'm on Flashy_News1 Instagram and Flashy_NewsX on Elon Musk.
That is right. That is right. Now, what's going on, bro? Operation Warp Speed. No one is mentioning anything about this specific topic, dog. What's going on?
I think it's important that we bring this up because I know a lot of people, even on our side, were very skeptical of what it was. There's a lot of misinformation about it. I think it's probably one of the biggest things that people that like Trump accuse him of doing, that it was a bad thing. Now, just like everything else, though, what they tell us is the half truth, right? Operation Warp Speed, let's just make it really easy. Stop the Great Reset. Okay, that's what it was really for. That's what rushing the vaccine was really about. Because if we remember, they told us we were going to be locked down until we get a vaccine. That was what they said. That's what the world was saying. And so many people were so scared of this virus. People were like, yeah, we got to stay locked down until we get a vaccine. So really, Donald Trump was put in an impossible position. Could you imagine? What do you do, right? Now, if we remember, though, what warp speed wasn't just about the vaccine. It was about other therapeutics, too, right? And this is when HCQ came out and ivermectin came out. We wouldn't have known about that until Donald Trump got up there in front of the world and said, listen, we should be looking into HCQ and ivermectin. And what happened? They attacked him. The whole world attacked him. The whole science community, Dr. Fauci, the people in Japan, oh my, he didn't know what he's talking about. But he did know what he was talking about because Operation Warp Speed was actually testing these things also. It wasn't just the vaccine, right? But then Trump seen the reaction of that, right? He tried to tell us therapeutics, HCQ, ivermectin, light inside the body, disinfectants, right? And then he's seen the whole world lost their minds. No, we can't do. We need a vaccine. We need a vaccine. We need a. All right. You guys are screaming for a vaccine. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you so fast that it's gonna stop any of these lockdowns, and it's gonna stop the excuse of blue states to keep lockdown, because that's
Bam.
what California and New York were saying. We're not gonna open our economies, the two biggest economies in the country. California is the third biggest economy in the fucking world by itself. Okay,
Bam.
they were not going to open until we get a vaccine. Now the red states were doing their thing. They stayed open. A lot of it, Georgia stayed open, South Dakota stayed open. So they weren't really relying on that. But the world economy, the world, all of the trade routes and all of these ports, they were waiting for this vaccine. So the plan was to keep us locked down while they made this vaccine, right? They were going to take 2 to 3 years to make it. If that would have happened, it would have been FDA approved, and you would have had to take it because it would have been FDA approved. Now, by Trump rushing it, it made us question it. It made it so it couldn't be mandated, okay, government wide. That's because it was under an emergency use authorization. Under an
Yep.
emergency authorization, it cannot be mandated, right? And Donald Trump was always clear. He said, "Listen, you want the vaccine, you take it. It's a great vaccine." He likes to boast. He boasted about the process that he oversaw to get it to market. He
Word.
was at the vaccine itself. He was saying warp speed was an amazing accomplishment because it was, because people really don't understand what it actually stopped. They wanted us locked down for those years. During that time, all the economies would have fucking crumbled. Okay, they would have given us this time. We would have been begging for the communism, for the checks from the government. We were already getting the stimulus checks. People were getting real loose with that. Oh,
Hey, dude,
get
that's
real
why
money.
the
And now look,
workforce was very difficult to get to start back up again. That fucking the laziness
100%,
got
bro. And
stuck
then
to the couch.
once those economies come crumbling down, you cannot build them back up. Okay, and Donald Trump built the greatest economy in the history of this country and in the world, and he's seen it crumbling down. Now, so closed economy, right, for so long would have brought us to civil war. You bet your fucking ass. There would have been bread lines. There would have been people going hungry, people not being able to feed their families. That's what they wanted, because then we would have accepted their solution, right? Which would have been a totalitarian communism, technocracy, corporatocracy, all of these things, right? So Trump really didn't have a choice. But he told us what the answer was: HCQ and ivermectin. Now, if we were in a cult, we would have been the first people to line up to take that fucking vaccine, right? But we were the ones telling everybody not to take it. Just because Trump says something doesn't mean he actually means what he says. Okay, it was an
Word.
accomplishment because it stopped the Great Reset. So I think when people come at you with that and you're a Trump supporter, oh, but what about the vaccine? Just think, what if we didn't get it? Where would this country be if that vaccine didn't come out in 9
If
months? The
warp
whole
speed,
world would have stayed,
yeah, if
bro.
warp
We would have
speed
been
does not make a displacement on their timeline through sabotage, because that's what it was. He sabotaged their timeline. We
exactly
would have all been, I wouldn't be working today. Our kids wouldn't be in school. And if they were, they would have been fucking, I'm telling you, like hovering drones over us on a daily
yep,
basis, door to
100%.
door. Yep.
100%. And then Biden weaponized it. He's the one who mandated on the military. He's the one who put pressure on the private sector of our economy to implement some kind of vaccine mandate, right? He was the one who did that. Donald Trump was always clear. Never would have mandated it. He always said it wasn't for children, it was for the elderly and the sick. That's what it was for. That's what he said it was for. The market was for. Then Biden came in, completely weaponized it.
Yeah,
Stolen
he tried to
elections
push it again.
have
Yeah.
consequences.
Yeah.
Stolen elections have consequences, people. So I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? Operation Warp Speed. Even though we didn't want it, we got to understand what position Donald Trump was put in an impossible one. And it's so easy to judge someone from the outside, all these conspiracy theories and all these motives that Donald Trump. Maybe he was just trying to do what was best for this country, but he had no other option. He tried to tell us about therapeutics. He tried to tell us about ivermectin. And he was also trying to win an election. It was 6 months before the election, and 90% of the country was believing Dr. Fauci, was believing the experts, was believing all these people, and we were just labeled crazy conspiracy theorists. So Donald Trump really just did everything he possibly could. He was one man. He had no help from his own party. He had zero help from the Democrats. The deep state was using this as an opportunity to attack him and to steal the election. And he told us, he said they were going to steal the election with mail-in voting. So say what you want. The man's not perfect. He's an impossible man trying to do an impossible thing, an imperfect man trying to do an impossible thing. So
Word.
obviously, it was best. Maybe he could have done something different, but what else could he have done? It was a once in a lifetime pandemic. Did what he could do, man. So
You
What
know
are you
what?
gonna
And
do,
quite
right?
frankly, you mentioned something about everybody was believing the other side. Everybody was manipulating the information. And somebody that was definitely at the center scope of this entire fucking situation was Fucci Face Fauci. What the fuck is happening with this dude,
The
bro?
ouchie
I heard
Fauci.
I
So,
heard he was getting the slammer hammer on them, dog. He was getting the whole thing, taking it all, baby.
bro, and funny, and he was just in Congress given his deposition under oath. And of course, he sat there and say, "I don't remember 1,000 times." You're supposed to be one of the smartest men in the world. You can't remember what happened fucking 3 years ago and the once in a lifetime pandemic. You can't remember. Obviously, he got caught in so many lies. But really, the most important thing that came out of that was really the gain of function research, right? That was the whole thing that Senator Ron Paul was really on him about. Like, listen, we funded gain of research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where the fucking virus came from. So it's not a stretch to say that American taxpayers fund the creation of COVID-19. That's not a crazy leap, right? And of course, for the science community, they were protecting that because they're trying to protect the integrity of science, right? They want that money to still come in. So you start questioning that. They were afraid they were going to lose their grants. They were afraid they were going to lose it all, right? So of course, and now we have the emails. We have Fauci emailing other people saying, "Oh, delete your email because they can get it on the Freedom of Information Act. Oh, hit me on my private email. Hit me on my." So why would you do any of this if you had nothing to hide, right? And then
Word.
the argument is, why didn't Trump just fire Fauci? First of all, you cannot fire career bureaucrats just like that. There's a whole process to it. You can't just do it. You can't say you're fired.
Question
It doesn't work
asked.
like
Look
that.
at that.
Okay.
Okay,
Does
okay.
not work like that. The legality of it. And not only that, he was the longest tenured federal employee in the fucking government.
And the
So you think,
highest paid, by the way.
and the highest paid, right? You think it would have been that easy? Do you understand the shitstorm that would have came from firing Fauci at the in the middle of a fucking pandemic when 90% of the country thought he was a saint? Of course,
Yep.
we wanted him fired, but would that have been even good for the country? It would have
Yep.
thrown this shit into turmoil. People wouldn't know, oh my God, he fired Fauci. Oh my God. They probably would have
He
impeached
would
him for it.
he would have lost. They would have really lost the election then. Like really,
Oh,
like
100%.
yeah. Mhm.
100%. And that's the thing. He was trying to toe that line, right? Because listen, if we lose the election, none of this matters. So he was really trying to play that middle, try to be more of a moderate, right? And let the
Yeah.
information speak for itself. That's why he was declassifying all the information from the Wuhan lab. And then that the deep state was the one hiding it. He's the one who said it came from a lab. When everybody was saying it came from a fucking animal in a zoologist or whatever, he was the one saying
The
it came from the
China
lab.
virus. Yep. Yep.
Right, right. And China kept saying, China, where'd it come from? China,
Yep.
China, China.
Yep.
He didn't let people
Mhm.
forget that, bro. So,
Mhm.
the information war was so thick at that time, he couldn't have fired Fauci even if he wanted to. But what he did do was he put Dr. Atlas on that the whole coronavirus task force. He was a more sane doctor, and he was actually giving his 2 cents and he was pushing back on Fauci. So Trump wanted to show the difference that there was other people saying other things, that there wasn't just this one narrative that's correct. No, there was other ways that it came from a lab, that therapeutics work, all of this stuff. But if you don't have your government on your side, what can you possibly do? He didn't even have the
Flash.
people on his side.
I must add to this, bro. Now, before I start losing my voice again, because the more louder I get, the faster I lose my voice. Yo, I as soon as this situation, he was already on his second trial, I started sending out information to my Latin American family in Central America. And they didn't know. Now, these are the people that were here, trapped in the United States of America, living at my home during the biggest part of the pandemic.
Right.
Now, they're never going to forget that because we spent so much time together here at my home, right? So I was like, okay, look, remember when I was telling you what the fuck was I was telling you? The shit that I was preaching for fucking the last 4 years since 2020? I told him, check this out, and I sent it to him. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I didn't find not one piece of information that I found on English outlets in Spanish.
Mm,
These Spanish speaking fucking networks, bro, will
yep.
not say anything close to what Fox or any mainstream fucking public resource in the English language. And it's so fucking frustrated because I have to go over there and interpret and I still look like the fucking idiot. Like,
Yeah.
because there's no main source. You know what I'm saying, right? It's
Yep. Yep.
wild. It's so fucking wild, bro. It's that's how I
And
know
that
they're controlling it.
and that's why George Soros bought up a lot of Spanish speaking television. Right?
Okay,
He did
wait,
that a
wait,
couple of years
what?
ago. Yeah. Yeah. Sure fucking did. He bought up the debt of all, not just Spanish speaking, a lot of conservative radio stations too. He bought up in the last couple months. People don't even know about that. So we're gonna see because people were fucking getting a lot of information from the radio, right? They're trying to even take AM radio off the fucking new cars. They want AM radio off new cars because conservatives run the radio.
But they want to put
They really do.
Cyrus. Who listens to Cyrus radio? Everybody's on Paranoid radio. Fool, what the fuck?
Right? Get your shit right, man. Where you at? Where, dog? Come on, man.
Oh shit!
But this was the greatest thing about COVID, though, is that it actually forced people into the podcasting world more so than at any other time before, because people seen what they were watching on TV, but then they also saw what was going on in the real world. People weren't dying. People weren't fucking, throwing up on the street and fucking shaking like they were from China. Like China put out all that propaganda that scared the shit out of us, right? And then people were like, wait a minute, the virus has a 99.9% survival rate. Why aren't we hearing more about that? We're hearing how dangerous the virus is, when in reality, it wasn't that dangerous at all. It was slightly more dangerous than the flu, right? And then if you had comorbidities and you were overweight and you were older, those were the people that were most affected. The children were the people that were least affected. They locked them out of schools. They made them wear masks. So people really, the longer it went, the more people, normal people, actually woke up. So if we were going to look at a positive thing from all of this COVID, it really helped us win the information war, because the more time that passed, the more time it showed that we were right. The more time, it was weeks, a year. Oh my God, they were right about this. We were right about that. I was watching Israel. Israel was testing the vaccine on 99% of its population, and all that information was coming back that the virus was still spreading. So I was like, bro, this shit ain't stopping transmission. That's the whole reason to take the vaccine, right?
How the fuck is it that I'm a 4-time COVID survivor? I'm probably even more now because I think it's a fucking flu. And you're a 5-time fucking booster and you're getting still COVID and I'm not. I'm at work right now. Like, what the fuck? You know what, bro? And we told everybody, like, dude, if you can smell a fart through a fucking mask after, like, what makes you think it's not gonna stop a particle of COVID? And then you had the kids, bro. All these kids wear these masks and being in bubbles. And what she said, what's your name? The senator that came in, he was scolding the shit out of him. Like, dude, this is who you are in the public scene, bro. This is who you are in the world, bro. And to be respected, to learn anything, to speak or anything, have any type of social communication, you need to show your face because this is who you are. That's why you never slap a kid in the face, et cetera, right? Because it's demoralizing, bro. That's what they did. They demoralized people at a very young age, and now these people are filled with trauma, and they made more consumers. Fucking crazy.
It was like Sharia law almost, you know what I mean? Like to cover your face. And then it allowed people that were robbing and stealing, they were just wearing masks all the time, right? And then now places are saying you can't wear a mask when you come into our establishment because people can't even see the fucking. So the whole shit is just so crazy, right? And so I just think that it was really important. We won that information war, and that's why no one talks about it. You don't hear the fucking people. What happened to COVID? What happened to all the fucking variants? What happened to all the fucking things? People that stopped dying? Like what? All crazy, right? They completely ignored fucking natural immunity, like whatever happened to herd immunity, like, all of these crazy things. And then we can look at the other countries that didn't implement any mandates, like Haiti. They had one of the best death rates. Barely anybody died from fucking COVID in Haiti. They didn't give out any fucking vaccine. Sweden didn't lock down, didn't mandate, didn't anything. They ended up having a better death rate than anybody else in Europe. So what I think this really did, though, was this set us up for whatever they try to hit us again with the next fucking pandemic. None of this shit is going to be able to be implemented because Fauci admitted on the stand that a lot of this shit was dumb, that he made up the 6-foot distancing rule, which is interesting because that's the rule that led to the mail-in voting. Because they said 6 feet away. How are we going to vote? We can't be next to people. You can't even watch people count the fucking ballots. You couldn't even watch people count the ballots. That's how they stole it. Because you weren't allowed close enough to watch, and that's why they implemented that, right? So that they can do the mail-in voting. So, but now, even if they hit us with the bird flu, whatever, it ain't gonna work this time, bro. You're not gonna lock kids out of school. You're not gonna mask us. You're not gonna mandate a fucking a vaccine that doesn't stop transmission on us. You're not gonna be able to do a 6 feet. All of this shit has been exposed. So maybe it was a dry run for them. But in reality, it was a dry run for us to know what the government would try and do in the future. And now we can just debunk this shit right off the fucking rip. This is why they're panicking, right? Because they're not going to be able to.
Talking about not able to fucking do anything. You mentioned Europe. Something about Europe just recently fucking happened. Europe goes red. What the fuck?
This is me taking a victory lap. Ready?
Splash underscore news 1. Make sure you check them out. What's up, baby?
I sat here and said, I don't know how many fucking times, that the mass illegal immigration is going to cause a global backlash. And in the 2024 elections, we're going to see some big changes. And we go to Europe, the European Parliament where the EU is. That's like the most left-wing body of anything. They're the one implementing all the farm restrictions and all this fucking crazy shit, right? See ya, you gotta go because you're a fucking liar and your whole agenda has been exposed. Ireland got rid of all the fucking mass immigration people. See ya, France. The whole, if you look at the map of France, the whole shit went red, not just little bits and pieces. And we're not talking about regular Republicans. We're talking about populist, economic, nationalist Republicans. Okay, far right is what they call them, right? But this is MAGA. This is MAGA in Europe, right? And I said that this mass migration would cause this backlash. And whatever happens in Europe happens here. If we look at 2020, Europe went left, America went left. Now they had
That's
their
actually mega. Make Europe great again.
there you go, said boom. And we are, bro. And this is such a positive sign. And these are the things that we look for, right? We try to see where do we know? Like, what's our true north? Like, what can we look at to see? Okay, Trump raised $400 million. Awesome, right? He got convicted. His fucking poll numbers went up. Cool, but that's America. Where's the whole world feeling, right? Because we're being told that Europe is so scared of a possible Trump return that people in Europe are even scared of it. Oh, if that's true, why the fuck did they just vote in a whole far ass right Republican conference in the parliament? And now France, Macron, who is the president of France, right? He's been the president, far left, fucking crazy psycho. He lost so many seats that he has to call a snap election because he no longer has a mandate from his own parliament because his party lost so many seats. So now they're gonna have a snap election in a couple weeks. He's gonna get fucking thrown out on his ass. And
Bam.
then France is going to be officially right wing with the president. And then Italy, boom, Maloney, she fucking ran the table. Luxembourg ran the table. Belgium, the Belgian president had to resign because he lost so many seats in the parliament, far left,
Ha,
psycho. Right. So
ha.
this is what we're talking about, people. This isn't some fucking games. Okay. Yes, they're the right and the left. We all agree that it's the wing of the same bird, and politics is bullshit. But this is not normal politics. Donald Trump changed the fucking game in 2016. He changed the game by giving away the game, by putting us at the seat of the table, pulling back the curtains and letting us see inside this dirty fucking machine, this dirty temple that has been running our lives for generations. Right. And that's why he's such a threat. So that's why I don't fucking subscribe to this. Oh, Trump is Trump is not a Republican. He chose to run as a Republican so he could take over the party and prove that it was controlled opposition, which he has, because just as many Republicans hate him as Democrats. If he was just part of the club, he would have his club. His club is the Patriots. His club is we, the people. He gets his power from us. That's why he can't be silenced. That's why you can try to throw him in jail. He'll raise $400 million. It's not because he's part of the club. He's part of our fucking club.
That's
Okay,
fucking
we made this
facts.
club. We
Word,
made this club. Okay.
word.
Everyone's like, how do we exit the matrix? How do we get out? No, you don't get out. You change it from within. That's what the fuck we're doing right now.
That's what
We
Neo
have
did.
changed.
Hey, if anybody watched the Matrix, he went inside. He fucked it up from
Exactly.
the inside. Word. Oh
Exactly, bro.
shit. Yep.
Exactly, bro. So all this fucking shit I'm seeing online that Trump's a fucking Jesuit and he's a this and he's a that. Not one time do any of them say maybe he is just what the fuck he says he is. They completely ignore all the evidence to suggest that he is who he says he is. And then they go and they make up shit and they say, oh, he made his hands like this one time and one time he went like that. And and his friends was this. Bro, he's a whistleblower. In order to
Yeah.
be a whistleblower, you would have had to have been part of the club at some time. That's what a whistleblower is, an insider that blows the whistle on their bullshit. Okay, if he was controlled opposition, he wouldn't be risking his life trying to expose voter fraud, giving away exactly how they steal with the mail-in voting, with the fake registrations, with the foreign governments, with the Dominion voting machines. Nobody was talking about this shit before Trump came along. Hey, this shit isn't new. This shit's
No,
been happening,
and
but
it's
we
been
were
happening.
and we were asleep to the whole fucking until when? Until Donald Trump won in 2016 and became our bullhorn. He's not our savior. Okay, he's our bullhorn. He champions the things we want championed, and he can be manipulated, but by us. He goes but by what we are saying, by what we want to see, what we want to see. Now, is he going to do every single thing we want him to do all the time? Of course not. He's still trying to placate the middle. He's still
Yeah.
trying to get moderates into this new Republican Party. Here, we just took over the RNC with his fucking daughter-in-law. They just hired 100,000 poll workers, watchers, to go watch every single polling station in America. 100,000 volunteers we have this time. This shit ain't going down like it is in 2020. And if you don't think voting works, go fucking talk to Europe if voting does. If voting doesn't work, how the fuck did they just go red? Because they overwhelm the
Yeah,
system. Okay. And let's just say they do steal. So what? You wasted 20 minutes of your fucking time. You voted. Big fucking
word.
deal. But you're going to go follow people that tell you not to vote and to stay in your basement and to fucking add 7 to 8. And then if you get 11, it's a fucking devil's number and all. Just go vote.
The most important part for any person coming out of high school, graduating college, any man that just got into the workforce, blue collar, yellow collar, black collar, different creeds, the most important piece of thing that you could do for the rest of your fucking existence is at this fucking moment, register to vote. Vote
Yes.
and exercise your right as an American citizen. You have to fucking vote. Quite frankly, I can't tell you who to vote for. I would wish you would vote for the right side. It means fucking Republican MAGA first. But if you want you to be taken care of, you don't want nobody coming into your pocket, nobody raping your fucking kids, nobody destroying your fucking health, your spirituality, your emotions, your mental health, or anything in the future for you as you need to get up and fucking vote and spend 20 minutes. You spend 30 minutes death scrolling, watching ads on TikTok, but you can't get up and go vote for your fucking country. Wake the fuck up and go fucking vote. Yo,
Fucking facts.
will they take out Biden?
This is a really interesting topic now because I was always a firm believer that they weren't, right? Because see, like this is what it is. Biden has a lot of power. He's currently the president. He's got a lot of dirt on people too, right? Blackmail runs Washington, D.C. So he's not just gonna leave on his own. He's worried about his legacy. He's an egomaniac, right? So this is why he's fighting this, right? But see, now they made the debate for the first time in history, they made the debate before the convention where they elect the nominee, right? So the DNC convention is a couple weeks after the debate. That's where they'll say Joe Biden is our nominee, blah, 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 right? But it could be a contested. It could be contested where they can actually put in whoever they want. So I think what they're doing is they want to see how he performs on this debate with Trump. That's the only reason why they would make the debate before the convention, because they're not sure about Biden. So this is really his last shot. If he comes out there and fucking bombs it, I think he's going to pardon Hunter and then drop out of the
Oh
race.
yeah,
Who they're going to
absolutely.
put in there, I don't know who they're going to put. I really don't think it's going to be Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama is not popular outside of New York and California. And people are hip to the game that Joe Biden was literally a third Obama term. So what are we going to want a fourth Obama term? This is why they're so fucked, because it's not just who they put up, it's the policies that they've been implementing this entire time. That is what America has been awoken to. That's what Europe was awoken to. They voted out the pro-immigration people. And now for the first time in history, immigration is the number one topic to voters. It's always been the economy. Never, ever the border or immigration. This is how Trump won in 2016 with his rhetoric towards immigration. Now, fast forward to 2024, the shit is 100,000 times worse, right? And now, for the first time ever, more Americans than not, Democrats, Republicans, want to see mass deportations. They
Yeah.
want to see mass deportations.
Yep.
That means Donald Trump is actually going to have a mandate to
Mhm.
do the shit, which he
Mhm.
didn't have the first time, right? Because everyone called him Hitler and fucking this and a fucking that. Now, after 8 years, 4 years of Biden, the true enemy has been exposed, right? This whole time it looked like we were losing. Actually, we were learning how to win, and we were exposing the enemy to the normies.
Yo,
That's where
they're
we're at
talking
now.
about exposing the enemies to the armies. I got 3 more points here, and I would love for you to fucking put them head to head. I got Garland held in contempt for Congress. You got
Ooh,
Israel, and you got Putin parking nuclear submarine 66 miles away from Florida.
okay,
Hit that shit,
Garland,
bro.
right? This is another perfect example of watching the public opinion starting to put pressure on our elected officials. How many times have I sat here and said, when we win the public opinion over, we're going to start seeing our elected Republicans starting to do some shit that they haven't done yet? Not just some strongly worded letters and some bullshit. They just held the Attorney General of the United States in contempt of Congress for withholding Joe Biden's taped interview with Special Counsel Hurt, right? The one where he said that I'm not going to charge him because he's an old, well-meaning old man and all this nonsense, right? So the Republicans want the videotape. They want the tape. Right now, we just have the transcripts written out what was said, right? Obviously, they probably edited it to make Joe Biden look better. So we want the tapes. We want the tapes. We have every right to them as an oversight, as a
Yeah.
judicial oversight, right? So now Garland is fucking shitting his pants. Garland is Biden's little boy, right? He's going to protect Biden at all costs. So now he's saying, no, you don't get to have those tapes just because, nah, I don't want you to have them. Who the fuck do you think you are, bro? And now, normally, he probably did this because he didn't think the Republicans had the balls to hold him in contempt, because normally we would have had the balls, and we didn't have the balls. But now that the public opinion has completely shifted, right, and now we have exposed who the enemy is, the Republicans have balls because they have the public behind them now. The majority of Americans want that tape, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, because the Democrats think it's going to help Biden. We know it's not. So now the pressure is being put on. So now he's been held in contempt. Huge, right? So now, now the FBI is obviously not going to arrest their own guy. He's the head of the fucking DOJ, right? But what the Republicans could do, they can use the sergeant at arms, who is in charge of the Capitol Police, to go bring that subpoena, and if need be, arrest his ass and bring him back. So we'll see what happens. But this is the action we want to see. Enough of the talk, enough of the tough guy bullshit. We want to see people held to account for their lies.
We all have a fucking job to do, and quite frankly, I'm not involved in any political, branch or judicial branch or law enforcement branch. But we do fucking amplify the message, and we spread the word to every single one of you. We all got a job to fucking do, bro. Now, Israel, what's going on with that, bro?
So, man, I sat here, I've tried to avoid talking about this Israel-Palestine thing because there's so much misinformation. People just feel the way they feel. People hate Zionists, people hate Israel, people hate Palestine. But now the PSYOP is working. The PSYOP was to get you to hate. They don't really give a fuck who you hate as long as you start hating. Right. And now what I see happening, now we see these rabid anti-Semites, right, running around college campuses, locking Jews inside doors, fucking chasing Jews down the street. Listen, I don't give a fuck how you feel about Jews. Not all people are the same. How do we like it when they fucking label all MAGA Nazis? Right? So now we're going to go be the same as them and label all Jews, all Zionists bad, the enemy of the people. The enemy is Iran, people. You're forgetting who the enemy is, because you went on TikTok University and learned some stuff.
Bam, bam, bam.
Right? So this is why I call Donald Trump a strategist and not a Zionist, because Donald Trump understands that Israel is the key to peace in the Middle East. We already proved that with the Abraham Accords. Okay, we were already signing peace deals. Now, why is peace so important? Because it puts pressure on Iran. If we can sign peace deals with Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, already happening, right? That puts pressure on Iran, right, to do the right thing, to not make a fucking dirty nuclear bomb. That's what they're doing. That's what Donald Trump is trying to stop. Okay, so it's not about Israel. It's about America. It's about America's safety. And unfortunately, Israel is the only person that's on our side in the Middle East. We need at least one for information, for intelligence, to see what fucking Iran is doing. Okay, we don't have to love the influence that Israel has in our government, but you know who also has a lot of influence? Ukraine. Why isn't anybody talking about that influence in our fucking government? It's always about Israel, Israel, Israel. There's plenty of foreign governments that have too much influence, especially the Muslim Brotherhood, especially Hamas. And now we're seeing that, because you know who's on the side of Iran? Barack Hussein Obama. We keep forgetting about that fucking guy, right? Because you're so consumed with propaganda from Hamas that you forgot who the enemy is. Now, I am no Zionist. I've never been a champion of the Israeli government. In fact, I've called them out many times. I made a whole fucking podcast about how they knew October 7th was going to happen. But still, that's not the same kind of enemy as Iran. The existential threat that the Middle East poses, radical jihad, Hamas, the Houthis, all of these people that people are now on the same side of. You are on the same side of people that want death to the West, that want death to America. I have yet to see one Israeli suicide bomber trying to kill a fucking American soldier.
Thank you.
This is an information war.
If you're so hungry for justice, go put yourself on a little bulletproof vest, jump off the fucking plane, go fight over there. Fuck that shit. 100%.
Clears for Palestine. You know what they fucking do to those people in Palestine? Please, man. And listen, you know it's very sad what's happening, but you have to understand that the Palestinian people are learned to hate. They're taught to hate in elementary school, to kill all Jews, to kill all white people. And this is what it is. This is an anti-white movement. This has nothing to do with Judaism. Okay, because if it was about religion, why don't they hate Muslims for being so conservative? You think Christians are conservative? Muslims, you can't even show your fucking face if you're a female. So this isn't about religion. It's not about Judaist religion. It's about white people. That's what it is. It's an anti-white Marxist revolution. And if you be careful, you're going to find yourself on the same side of the blue hair commies.
Damn, that is fucking hardcore. That was a trailer right there. And ending piece to this, 66 miles away. What the fuck is happening? They're not scared. They're not scared at all.
That's what it is, bro. This just shows how fucking soft Joe Biden is. That Putin feels comfortable enough to park his nuclear submarine in the Cuban Havana harbor, 66 miles away, and they're even doing military drills, shooting up fucking rockets right down the street from Florida. And now, for the first time in history, Russia has labeled the United States its enemy. First time in history. First time in history. Joe Biden did that. Russia has the most nuclear weapons out of any country in the fucking world. That's not who you want as your enemy. Okay. And now Putin has no choice. What is this man supposed to do? He's seeing the enemy come closer and closer to his borders, NATO, right? NATO is supposed to be a defense force. It has been very aggressive towards Russia, gaining more territory closer to Russia, closer. So of course, Putin's what else can he do? He's putting his country first. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, this just shows they're flexing. They're flexing their muscles. They're showing they're not afraid of Biden. But hopefully this is just going to wake people up, because Putin wasn't doing this shit when Trump was in office. And it's not because they were friends. It's because Putin is scared shitless of Trump, because he knows he's not afraid to use the strength of the United States of America.
Donald Trump will tell him once, will tell him twice, and the third time he's already fucking lifting his fist.
Bro, that war's gonna end like that. The Ukraine war gonna end like that. Israel, Hamas, like that. That's why they can't let him in there, because war is a big money maker. Yeah. That's why they hate Trump, because Trump is the peacetime president. So all this bullshit about Trump is the enemy. If Trump was the enemy, why does he want peace? If Trump is the enemy, why was he signing peace deals in the Middle East? If Trump was the enemy, why did he expose voter fraud? How much he did? Why didn't he let it go? He still hasn't conceded that election. Why is he running again? Why is he trying to close the border? Why is he trying to sign executive orders to stop children from being fucking kidnapped?
What?
Hell of an enemy.
How about we vote felon 2024? Make America great again. You can find Flash_News1. You can go check us out at paranoidradio.com. Do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. Get a lot of other people to enjoy the show as much as we enjoy making it. Peace out, Flash. Thank you, bro.
Paranoid Radio.